Hi everybody, it's me, it's Russ from My House 11. I don't know why I did the wave there, man. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and pressing that bell icon so you're made aware of any time we put new content on. We've got videos going up daily, but sometimes 2-3 times a day. Particularly, I don't know, if we've just won 4-0, for example, and I'm in a good mood. So make sure you hit that bell icon so you don't miss. It doesn't happen a lot, Tim, so don't matter. So make sure you hit that bell icon so you're made aware of any content we put on. Loads of great guests, including today's guest. We've had his sidekick. We've had one of the American Hammers Network guys. We've had Lee. Now we've got Tim. How you doing, Tim? How's things?
Great after a victory like that yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Much better.
everything's a lot nicer, isn't it? It's funny.
It is.
The birds sing. The birds sing nicer. It seems a warm. The weather seems better today. It's funny. How's things for you over there in terms of that's this whole sort of weird lockdown world we've been living in recently.
I bet is just as bizarre as it would be back where you are. It's depressing, a little bit, and it's a lot of getting used to, and nobody knows what to be doing really. I mean, there's different people telling you to do this and then not do that, and lock down this but not that, and wear this but not that, and so on and so on. It's just it's super confusing.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's the same here. I mean, you've got like obviously the different governments here. So you've got Boris, who's saying one thing, and then Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland is saying another thing. The Welsh
Yeah,
guys are saying another thing. You're like, oh god, yeah, it's very confusing. And as soon as and I mean, what's sort of relatively good news for us is obviously all the pubs are open now,
yeah,
and so we'll see how that works. But football's back. West
it
Ham,
is.
we're doing sort of all right, all
It was
right.
weird at first. It was weird at first
Yeah,
with no supporters, but I found myself actually shutting off the pumped in crowd noise
really.
because I with no fans there, with no supporters there. I think I'd rather hear the players. Hear what
Yeah.
the players are saying to each other, if anything at all. To make sure that they're doing their job, and see, hear the manager sometimes as well. But the fake noise is just, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. I'd rather have
Yeah.
either be fans and hear their real noise.
Yeah, no, I quite like. I do. I mean, I was like you. I did sort of. We could switch between one channel and the other channel.
Yeah,
Literally up and down. So yeah, no, I'm a bit of a noise man. I think it's weird because obviously I do the games at the London Stadium now. I've always done, but obviously even more so now with the closed. Obviously no fans, and it is weird. It is weird
yeah,
being there. It's really quiet. The fact is, I'm home within like 25 minutes from like a home game, and it's just like so bizarre. It's like
yeah,
I literally walk out the stadium. My car is parked around the stadium, not in a car park. Like I don't have to get a
yeah,
train. And literally, I'm home in 25 minutes. It's absolutely mental, particularly because all the games are at weird times, and that's even weirder for you guys.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like 6 o'clock games on a Wednesday, I just can't get my head around it. But
yeah.
I lose count. Honestly, I look at the phone like I forgot that obviously I knew Villa were playing, and you look at your phone. There's like 3 or 4 games have already happened. And you're like,
I
what?
know.
When did
Yeah,
that happen?
I know. Wolves were whooping ass today, and I didn't even know they were even playing today. They're beating
I
Everton.
know,
Yeah.
I know it's absolutely mental. So for you, Tim, obviously you did the American Hammers Network, which is really, really successful, and I love watching it. Loads of great content on there. But for you, I always ask the fans, why West Ham? Why is West Ham your club? I can't detect a Cockney twang in your accent.
No, no. Yeah. It's actually a collection of things that
Yeah.
over time. The first I ever heard of West Ham was actually watching an episode of the IT Crowd.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. When they go to the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so that was always in the back of my head. But I back in 2010, I had an Apple, I mean a Mac computer, and the only game I could get on there that was sports was Football Manager. So playing Football Manager, and at the time, the 2010-2011 season, they were obviously in the Premier League. Not such a good one, but I love the colors, I love the logo, and then I just remembered in the back of my head, hey, West Ham, that's from the IT Crowd, and then I became obsessed. Like anything else I do in my life, I become extremely obsessive about. So I had to know everything about West Ham. I had to research everything I possibly could about it, and unfortunately, that was the season that they got relegated. So I started following West Ham halfway through the 2010-2011 season, and then just became obsessed thereon, and I had to know everything about the history. And and obviously follow along. And also I get to learn also thanks to Football Manager. I get to learn about English football in general and all the different tiers and all the different everything from Lewis FC all the way up to, you know, teams like Luton that were in the Premier League at one point and then knocked down and down, down, down out of the football league completely.
Yeah.
And stories like that. So I get to learn a lot about English football because of that game, really.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. That's a new one. That's a new one. Football Manager. Football Manager got his best hand. No, I love it. That's really cool. And you know, as you said, you came on at a very West Ham time in that we got relegated. Yeah. But that's
my first full season was the best season I've ever experienced. Because we were winning games, you know, like regularly.
Yeah, but it must have been hard for you trying to find the games. Because obviously Premier League's easy, you know. It's like it's a bit like now in the UK, but obviously in the States every game's on, right? But obviously for the Championship,
not even the Premier League. No, the Premier League you had to pay, you know, for extra packages to get, you know, extra channels, and they still didn't show all the games until I think the 13-14 season. I'm pretty sure. Okay. When NBC took over, because Fox used to have that here in America, and they would only play select games, which when we bounced back up in the 2012 to 2013 season, I did get to see a few games on like NBC, like the regular major, you know, cable network. But no, that 2011-12 season championship, there were 2 games played on Fox Soccer Plus, which was like an additional package. And the rest I had to find dodgy streams from Afghanistan or, you know, Istanbul or whatever. And like literally had to like fight pop-up ads just to watch the match. But no, I did. I mean, I got to see like that season. I got to see, I'd say at least half the matches. Wow. You know,
that's cool, man. That's really cool. And obviously, you know, the American Hammers Network, you and Lee, you know, it's going absolutely great guns, man, isn't it? And I mean, I was, to be honest, I was a little bit naive before I started doing this channel. I was a bit naive to everything outside of my house, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you have so many fantastically passionate fans over there. It's incredible watching, you know, talking to some of the guys, and we're trying to get some of the fans groups on the channel as well. But obviously, no, man, it's awesome, absolutely awesome. And obviously, you're producing some really cool content, and getting loads of, but also not just in America, but obviously from this side of the pond as well. You know, a lot of contributors. It's absolutely cool, man. Obviously, and you know, weird things like, you know, I used to go to school with Adam.
Yeah.
With Adam Frankel, and it's like it's just all that mental stuff. It's so cool, but it must be fun for you doing all that sort of Hammers, the American Hammers stuff.
Yeah, so it started selfishly. It was me. Actually, I'll have to preface this because I met Lee because he was a West Ham supporter, and he used to have a small, you know, nothing really, just for fun. He had a West Ham blog from America, or whatever. And when I had a semi-professional soccer club here in Lowell, Massachusetts, I was looking for people in the area who liked West Ham that would want to get involved with my club because I wanted, you know, like-minded, you know, football supporters. And he was the only one I could find, and that's how I met him. And then he helped run, you know, that club with me for, you know, a few years. And then anyway, I tried a couple soccer clubs after that, and got fed up with the whole, you know, time-consuming. There's so much goes into running a football club. So I wasn't seeing anything coming back to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't worth it. So long story short, I wanted to do something still West or soccer, football related. And I reached out to Lee, and I kept hounding him because I created the channel back in like 2018, but I didn't start until January of 2019. 2019. Yeah, 2019. So it had been there for a while, just sitting there because I was trying to convince Lee, like, listen, you know, let's do this. And he's like, what are we going to even do? And I'm like, we're just going to talk West Ham. He's like, oh, no, there's tons of other channels out there that do that. I'm like, you're right. So what are we going to do different? Let's find other supporters in America. Let's focus on finding other West Ham supporters here, interview them, and then try to unearth more, and then I obviously become obsessive. I'm like, okay, well, now I got to find every group. I got to find every person, and even if they don't even run a group or don't even have a group, I want them on the show because I want to help them find a group. Because I want to help grow the American West Ham fan base. And that's how it started. But then it just spun because we had friends from the UK that wanted to do shows. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to say no to that. I'll have UK people do shows. We've had people on, obviously, from all over the world hosting shows, male, female, whatever. We if anybody wants to run a show on our channel, we let them. You know,
Yeah.
it's all a big. It became a big giant family.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So
it
true.
Evolved.
Yeah. It's so true.
Game shows too. I mean,
yeah, the game shows, the hammer shots
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I love all that. No, it's great, and you're right. It's one of those things where, and that's this, and I can see exactly parallels to this channel, because this channel just started as me as a stupid idea 8 weeks ago, and because of the West Ham community, the West Ham family all over the world. We've done 100 plus guests and all that type of stuff.
Niche, but that's the thing is you picked it and you found something that no one else is doing. That's the best part. That was so difficult because we've been trying so many times to come up with new ideas, do different things, so that we're not looking like we're copying everybody else. You know what I mean? Because there are a bunch of
that's true.
YouTube channels out there. So, but again, you have something that nobody else has, and then the guests that you get, Jesus, oh my God, I don't know how. Listen, I can't tell you how much of a fight and how much I had to hound and harass and to get the players that we've had on. And
I'm the same. Honestly, I'm the same, man. Honestly, it's the same. There's a lot of texts and rearranging and but it's
amazing in a short period of time, sir, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm sort of I'm pretty astounded, to be honest, by it all. But it's the West Ham community, you know what I mean? It's like it's like literally. I mean, I have a few people I might be able to talk to, but it's here's a text, here's a number. Oh, what about this person? What about this person? And I literally don't have to sit. Like from the fans' perspective, it's really easy because literally people come and say, "Can I come on the show?" Of course. They go, "I'm a nobody." You're not a nobody. You're a West Ham fan. It's not about whether you're a player or same as you guys. It's you want to talk about West Ham, you want to give myself half an hour to talk about West Ham, I'll listen to you, man, because every story is really cool. And that's what I really like. I love the fan stories. I love the stories like championship manager, football manager rather. That's brilliant. It's so cool, man.
My favorite question was always the first question, which was, how on earth did you become a West Ham supporter? And that doesn't go, I mean, that goes with everybody. I mean, we've had like you said, just regular fans, like supporters that don't even have anything to do with the supporters group, or people from Australia, the UK, whatever. We'd have them on, and we want to find out. I mean, obviously, 90% of the people from England or London, especially, I mean, they were born into it. That's the number one answer, obviously. But other than that, sometimes you get a unique one. That's always my favorite question. And then my other thing was, I just really wanted to have people having a voice, you know what I mean? Like the average fan, and trying to listen. There's a lot of people that are camera shy out there too. There's like heads, like the people who run some of these supporter groups that are the most outgoing people in person you'd ever meet, but they don't want to get in front of the camera to talk about their group, so they delegate somebody else to do it. But no, I've met a lot of great people because of this, and I can't tell you enough. Like, listen, the last time I was over in London, I mean, the people that I mean, I was recognized by people, which was shocking, and I had two of our regular viewers come up and give me a gift. Someone gave me a replica of the 1980 kit and like a polo shirt, which is cool, and man, I can't thank them enough. That was really neat.
It's so true. I mean, as you said, I've met a lot of people. I met a lot of people I wouldn't have spoken to 8 weeks ago, just because I'm not in that. I don't really contribute in any of the Facebook groups or anything like that. And I've got some friends, like really, really close friends who text me, not just fans, but some, I get some, I can't believe some players text like every game. Oh, good results day, Russ, or they give me like a little match report. I absolutely love it. Honestly, it just shows the West Ham family in all its glory, and it's true. I get loads of in the world. Exactly, and I get. I mean, I get face masks. People send me face masks, which is quite nice. I've got about 3 different face masks. I've got a shit. People just send you stuff. Absolutely mental. I've met these people once, but Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you've done loads of really cool stuff over there, as I said, I watch all the stuff. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and you're right. You get these communities and you get these people like obviously Charlie and Becky and people like over here who contribute, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's so nice. If anyone doesn't watch it, you should be, man, because obviously it's so cool. It's different from us. What I say is the usual YouTube West Ham stuff. It's more. I don't know. I find it more entertaining. I don't know what it is, but I just
try to. All right, so we try to mix it up. Number one,
yeah.
And number two, even though we have the same show, sometimes it feels like we're having the same show over and over again. It's different faces. I mean, I try to. I mean, my biggest joy is trying to schedule who's going to be on each night and trying to find it and try to keep some of the same faces, but throw in some new ones or people that haven't been on in a while or whatever, and to give them an opportunity to get back on there and in front of the camera or whatever, and they love it, and that's but I try to keep it as fresh as possible, even though it's the same stuff over and over again. Now I can tell you the most difficult thing of this whole thing was the whole COVID stuff, right? So once football stopped, I mean, I thought I was done. I mean, I was going to just wrap it up and say, okay, that's it, I'm done. I mean, what am I going to do now? Like there's nothing to talk about, and nothing positive anyway. Because we didn't really end on a high either. I mean, the form was starting to look a little bit better, but the results were not there. And I mean, I was ready to wrap it up.
Really,
but luckily, thanks to the community of people that we have, but especially the people that we have behind the scenes, they, made sure that we kept going. So I can't thank them enough.
No, exactly, totally. Yeah, he's been. Yeah, mine's been the other side. This all started with COVID, but it's like, and now it's getting harder because now people are going back to work, so it's harder to get. But okay, I'd rather that be, as long as everyone's got their health and stuff. That's all I give a shit about, man. You know what I mean? Right. So let's go and talk about the 11, as you said, the niche, which I can't believe. So as I said, the whole idea is you have to be alive to have seen them play. So for you two, it may be people from, I don't know, from 2010 onwards. It doesn't really
That's
matter
what
who
so
you
I picked from when I started watching.
That is perfect. That is pucker. Right. Okay. Right. We'll start off in goal. Who we got in goal? Who's your goal?
Robert Green, no question. Robert Green.
Oh, Green. Yeah. Good player. Solid. Dependable. And what I like about him is he doesn't take himself too seriously. Do you know what I mean? On Twitter and stuff. And I think footballers take themselves far too seriously nowadays. It's uber professional. And actually, you're in a very fortunate position, mate. You've earned a shitload of money kicking a ball about. And so you've got to take the good with the bad. And he does. I love Green. I think he's a good shout. Yeah. Definitely. Right. Okay. Robert Green. Left back. It was tough. I mean, I was torn between McCartney and Cresswell, but I obviously picked Cresswell because he's obviously clearly the better footballer, by far. But I mean, listen, I get it. It was a close second was McCartney, just because he was a workhorse. He was a hustler. He didn't care who you were. He'd do his best. He wasn't the best player, but he would do his best most of the time. And that's the thing. I mean, for a lot of people, it's not necessarily the best players, but it's the people who give 100%. I said it. I say it
too. I mean, for the most part, and in Cresswell's free kicks kind of like set him above. I mean, he was more versatile. Cresswell was. So.
No, I agree, because he's obviously played in the back three, didn't he, when Moyes came in the first time and stuff. And I think obviously from his early stuff, when he first joined the club, he was really, really exciting. I think injuries has hampered him, as with every player, it seems, at West Ham, as the curse. But you're right, it's not necessarily the best players, it's the players that mean something to you. And obviously, they put shifts in, and McCartney would put a shift in. I don't remember McCartney making many mistakes, if any, off the top of my head. No glares I can think of. Yeah. I'm sure someone will mention one in the comments, because they always do. But that's the fun of being a YouTuber.
I had more enjoyment, I guess, watching Cresswell.
That's
why I picked him. I mean, overall, he's a better footballer.
Yeah, and he has this sort of, you can see on his face. McCartney wasn't a particularly expressive person, but Cresswell is when he scores and stuff. Sure. You know what I mean? Nice way of putting it. Right. Okay, let's put Cresswell left back. Let's go right back then, Tim. Who have we got right back?
Jenkinson.
Oh,
from my time period. Yeah.
I've even got to type him in now. God dear.
Carl Jenkinson. he obviously a brief period with us, but at the same time, I think he was clearly the best right back I've ever seen us have. Yeah, I mean, personally, in my eyes.
I think he was. I mean, he was solid that season. He played for it, that proper season. You know, he played sort of in and out when he came back. But he was. I think he was really solid that year when he played for us. I thought he was right back's a position we don't really have. We've never really done well from the mid-90s onwards since Tim Breaker. And yeah.
I mean,
so
Zabaleta, by the time we got him, his legs were gone, and he wasn't regular. And I can't stand Ryan Fredericks. So I didn't really have much of a choice. And plus, Joey O'Brien. I mean, maybe for just and giggles. I mean, he played there a few times, but I don't know.
Oh, you're right, man. Yeah, you're right. We haven't been blessed with right.
Julian Faubert. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Julien. I mean, the man played for Real Madrid team. You know what I mean?
Love the guy, listen, I love the guy, but I mean, I don't know. As a footballer,
yeah. Again, he was one of those players. He came with all his fanfare, then he gets injured in pre-season, and that was it. He was fucked, and that's what happens too often with our players. We come with this great. We all do the YouTube when we sign someone, don't we? YouTube highlights, and you just see this mass. He's so quick, and they used to call him. They used to call him the TGF in France because it was like it was the bullet train in France type thing, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then he gets injured in pre-season in a game against a Czech Republic team, I think. Right, okay, Carl Jenkinson, yes. I think that's a good shout actually. Let's go centre back. Who's your first centre back then, Tim?
There's no choice. James Tompkins.
Tompkins.
Tompkins is my number one player in West Ham. He's like my captain. He's my number one guy. He's my favorite, absolute, everything about him, my favorite player in my time of watching West Ham, following West Ham. And that was because of many things, but obviously his talent, but he could also score. He could score goals. He could also, he was never afraid to make a challenge. Just look at his, his face, his head. I mean, he how many times did he have his head bandaged up or his face, bandaged up during matches and stuff like that? He wasn't afraid of an elbow. He was always in there. I would always love seeing him in set pieces. But no, he scored a lot of goals for us. He really did as a defender. I mean, compared to a Bonner or a Collins or anybody else of my time watching the club. But he was one of my favorite players to watch.
You're right, yeah. I think there was a period when he left, and we needed him as soon as he left. He went to Crystal Palace, and as always happens, play goes and that's it.
He was forced to leave because they wouldn't give him the damn playing time he deserved, and that's why Bilic is my least favorite manager. I'd rather have Adam Grant than Slaven Bilic.
Woohoo! You heard it here first. No, exactly. But that's always the way. Player goes, and then last season, Adrian goes. They get in Roberto. It's all right. It's fine. Fabianski gets injured. Pretty much that buggered up the season for us. It's always hindsight's a great thing. But Tompkins is one of those ones. As soon as he left, we had a couple of defensive problems.
He's been with the club since age 7. I mean, he was an academy boy. You don't let those people go.
No, you
Keep
don't.
them, man. Yeah.
You're right, man. You're right. Okay, Tompkins, JT. Okay, who's going to partner JT? JC and JT. Love it. Yep. Good old Ginger Pele.
Ginger Pele, man. He's definitely my second choice always for a center back. Yeah.
I love him. I think
everything about him. I mean, there's nothing else we can say. I mean, he's just leader.
Yeah, he's a proper leader. You're right, and he just particularly. I mean, you obviously weren't around for his sort of first spell, but he's better. I thought he was better in his second spell because he was more mature and he was more of the elder statesman in the centre back, and he had that commanding presence. I think more so than his first time at the club.
I was actually at his last match.
At
his last match.
You were there. You were there.
Yeah, that was my that season. I was there for the last 2 home games. And we drew Man United 0-0, and then we smashed Everton 3-1, which was great.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah. And then that was when Mark. And that was when Mark did was that the last game when Mark did a thing on the pitch saying how we needed to give him another year contract of Ginger Pele, and he was crying and everything. And again, we could have done. At the moment, you need those characters in the dressing room at the moment with this weird world we live in now, and his
wages weren't high. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't afford to keep him around even as a third or fourth string at the time. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I don't know. I
And he
thought
still
they
didn't
should.
get picked up, did he? By anyone? He didn't get picked up by
No,
anyone.
Ipswich, I
I think he
think.
went. I think yeah, but I think he went
Did
and
he?
tried and he played
Yeah.
off small. But he's not there now. It's just like you just think, even to
He's in the
like
studio now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what he's doing now instead. Right, okay. That's a back four, back five done. Midfield, left midfield. Then Tim.
Okay, technically, I guess I'd say Payet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Again, I don't want to. I mean, how do I put this? I think Dimitri Payet is less of a snake than Scott Parker. Let's just put it that way.
Ooh, I love you,
Number
Tim.
one, because
Yeah.
he didn't leave us in championship just for English, to be, for an English cap. And he also didn't leave us for a friggin' London rival, and then another London rival, and then coaching with another London rival. You know what I mean? Like staying away from West Ham, having nothing to do with West Ham, but he's supposedly like a mini legend at the club. So anyway, Payet went off to France.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying this. I'm not saying he's not a snake. I'm saying he's less of a snake than Scott Parker. Anyway,
less of a snake.
Enough about Scott Parker. I never get the rant about Scott Parker because he's pro Scott Parker. So anyway,
yeah, he is. Okay, we give you a
Payet.
Chance. Okay, but Dimi Payet, yeah, best player I've ever seen at play.
Best player I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, technically best player I've ever seen as well. Not the best player. I think technically he's the best technical player I've seen. Best player was Paolo for me, but Payet was the best. He was just a joy that last season. It was sometimes things just work out right. Very rarely for West Ham, and that just worked out. You had the right manager, although you didn't like him after Jamie Tompkins, but you had the right manager in terms of a West Ham manager. You had Dimitri Payet, and it just the stars aligned, and very rarely does that happen at West Ham. Okay, let's go the other wing. Let's go right midfield, right wing. Who got right wing?
I didn't have enough room in my center, so I put Jack Collison over there.
Oh yeah.
Number one, he's a good friend of mine, and I love him to death. But he's also he had this rifle for a leg, kind of like a Hitzelsberger. Like he had like this. I don't know. I love watching his goals, and I loved his passion, and I loved that he loved the club, and he was also again an academy boy. So between him and James Tompkins, those are like my two personal favorite players of my time watching the club, because again, they were academy players that were actually good.
Yeah. I know what you mean. And I love him as well, just because the man showed so much passion. I mean, when his dad died,
he still loves the club.
I know he's brilliant, and he's over there doing some good stuff at Atlanta. I'd love him back at West Ham and the coaching staff, or because he's just like, that's what we need, and we're doing it more and more. We're bringing more and more old boys back, so to speak. It seems, and Jack's brilliant, and as you said, he was a great player. It's obviously again another one where injury reduces playing career very much so, but as you said, massive West Ham fan, and I like players who actually are who give a shit about the club.
Love the club. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
it makes such
one.
a difference. Yeah. Makes such a difference. Right, middle of the park. Who you got? Who got the middle of the park, Tim?
I got Kevin Nolan. Kevin Nolan, and I got Declan Rice.
Okay.
So I haven't seen anything. Again, another kind of academy boy, not 100% academy boy, but a kind of academy boy.
Yeah.
That is actually good.
And
who knows how long he'll be with the club. But anyway, Kevin Nolan, I loved, again, he was only with us a short period of time, but I loved his passion. I mean, he did want to play for the club. He did love the club while he was here. And you wouldn't know that he played for another club. Like when he played with us. That's the type of player I love. No matter what their past was, when they're wearing the badge, they love the badge. And they gave everything they had, even though he didn't have, again, that was his twilight of his career. So he did the best he could, and sometimes it was enough. It was awesome to see him score goals, and God damn, I love when he would,
I'm waiting for him to bust out a chicken dance on the touchline. You know what I mean? It's just like you think yesterday. You think when the hat trick went in, or the fourth goal, he would have I'm surprised Antonio hasn't done a chicken dance at him yet. Do you know what I mean? It's so easy. He could just run over and just do that, and it would have been brilliant, and it would just been so funny. And it's like it's written and ready.
I would love to see Kevin Nolan as our manager one day.
100%. Really? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
no, I think him. Yeah, I know what you mean. He's definitely made a massive difference since coming to the club, and I think it was a bit of a master stroke for bringing him in because he gets the club and he's just got. You can just see him just in the air
Yeah.
all the time, and I think and yeah, Declan. I think Declan's benefited from having someone like Kevin around him as well. And I
Yeah.
think. And no, I mean the last few games. I mean, when Mark hasn't been playing and Dec's been captain, I think he's done an admirable job, and I think you see he's a young lad, and he's got these guys who are 10 years older than him, and he's shouting them and barking them about. I remember seeing Dec play for the under 23s because we used to do a few of the under 23 games at London Stadium, so I used to watch him. Centre back, he was captain, and he stood out like a mile because of the fact because he had that sort of John Terry, but that leadership quality which we haven't had in England, let alone at West Ham, for many years, and he's just got it. And yeah, just hope. I'd love to see him when Mark, hopefully, if everything, he stays for another couple of seasons and Mark retires and he takes over as captain. I would think you would see some really good stuff.
Yeah,
I just think he seems to have just blossomed into this player.
I think Mark Noble should just pass the torch now. I mean, even if he's still at the club, I mean, I think he should, after watching Declan Rice be captain and how he handled himself, that he proved that he could do it.
Yeah.
Now's the time to pass the torch because Mark Noble's not going to be getting the minutes, especially even next season. I mean, I think now's the time.
No, I think he's going to be a bit player now, isn't it? Clearly, you saw that. Yeah, it would do. It would definitely help keep him if he's captain, I think. But also, it's something I could see Mark easily doing if it meant it's for the better good of the team. Do you know what I mean? Mark is such an amazing West Ham man. But you're right. I mean, with that Chelsea game, that's the blueprint of the midfield. You've got Souček, you've got Rice, and one other.
Oh my God, I know.
Brilliant. It's like and his. I mean, the team, you can almost see it. It's just when it clicks, and it's like you've got that one spot, whether it's Fornals or or I don't know, or Mark. When it's a game where they need a bit more steel in there, they can interchange that third player. And definitely. Okay, put Dec in, put Nolan in. Strikers then, Tim. Who are we having up front, man?
Okay, I'll do the best one for last. So, first one will be Diafra Sacco. I love watching him. I loved when he would score, even when he wouldn't score, but he was actually on the pitch. I don't care what people really do behind the scenes. I'm not there. I don't see it, so I don't know what kind of person he is. It doesn't really matter to me. On the pitch, when he was on and he started, I mean, watching him score was beautiful. It was beautiful, man. To me,
I totally agree. Yeah. There was a period where him and Enna Valencia and stuff, they were good. They were a good pair. He sort of played quite well. He's like, I think he's still available on a free transfer, wasn't it? There was talk of us getting him when we were desperately for a striker. I just don't think sometimes good players come back, but sometimes it's not. And I don't think it would work with Sacco because
you're right. But sometimes it's the manager too, though. So with Village gone. Yeah, I mean, maybe he would have worked well under Pellegrini. Maybe he would have worked well under Moyes. Who knows?
Maybe, but he wouldn't have his mates around him because obviously he had Sacco. He was good friends with Chiati left, and they were really close. I remember once sitting when we played FC Birkirkara in the Europa qualifiers at the old ground. I think must have been the last season or the last but one season. And I was in the dugout doing the announcing because Martin was away, and there was me. And there was Chiati and Sacco, and they were just literally laughing. They were just joking the whole time. It was really like two little schoolboys. Yeah. It was really sweet. But you're thinking, you're professional players. Sure, you should be watching the match, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like you can see how close they were. Right, we put Sacco in, and who's the last piece of the Tim puzzle then?
It's kind of like that orange juice concentrate that you put in the freezer, and then you make a big giant tub of orange juice out of it. The guy was only here for half a season, but he scored more goals than anybody should have in that small period of time. Demba Ba.
Demba Ba.
I love watching him. Yeah, so that was when I first started, obviously, watching the club.
Yeah.
And, man, scoring 7 goals in that short period of time, and those goals were too easy, for him, and he made it look so good. He reminds me a lot of Diafra in some ways. How they actually, how they scored the goals and how easy they made it look and how beautiful it was. And then watching him obviously leave, I mean, goddamn, I many a time back when he was with Newcastle anyway, I in Chelsea, I wish that he was still with us. Can you imagine if we kept him or signed him to a full contract? I mean, obviously he didn't want to play in championship, but
no.
But God, that short period of time that we had him, I mean, that was a striker.
I remember when obviously we went down, and then I remember this, and they were trying to get the fans. We were putting like little video packages of Denver Bar up, trying to get the fans to sign him up, trying to get the fans sort of, and it worked because they were like cheering and stuff for him quite a lot. It was almost like we was trying to persuade him to sign a contract by the video packages and stuff like that.
I wish it worked. I know.
Oh yeah, it would have been brilliant. You're right. He was a great player for us. He was a great player. Tim, man, that's brilliant. Love it. Love the team. Love the team. A couple of new names as well to add. I'm pretty sure Bar's a new one. Maybe Sacco as well. Jenkinson definitely. So it's always good. It's always good. I rate that. I thought that Cole Jack. I mean, in isolation that season, he was he was brilliant for us. I think he was. He stood out.
Yeah, where is it? Real quickly, I'll just list off real quick. I actually had a sub bench because there was so many close calls.
Yeah.
There was so many close calls. George McCartney I already mentioned. Adrian would be my other choice other than Robert Green, because I only saw Robert Green for like a season and a half. So, but Matty Taylor on the left. I mean, obviously, if I didn't pick the snake, I was going to pick Matty Taylor because, I mean, the guy, again, loved the badge, right? And he put out his effort. And with a short period of time, he was with us. Andy Carroll, if the guy was healthy, he would probably be instead of a Demba Ba, you know what I mean? Or instead of somebody else, but he was injured too much. And those little glimpses of nothingness didn't really do much for me. Ogbonna was my third choice center back. Yeah. And the other wing, actually two wings. I had Victor Moses and Matt Jarvis were two other players that in the brief period of time they were with us. I loved Jarvis. For whatever reason, didn't work out. But I mean, he had it though. You could see it in him. He was that type of winger that I wanted. I don't know if it was Allardyce didn't play him that right and Bilic wanted him gone. But anyway, and Victor Moses was just in that short period of time he was with us. I loved seeing him on the pitch. I knew when he was on the team sheet or he was going to come off the bench, he was exciting to watch. So,
definitely. Yeah, and I forgot. Yeah, Victor Moses. Yeah, and he scored one goal for us, and that goal was that Man City game. And I remember it, that City away, and he scored that goal. Brilliant, love it, and I love the honourable mentions at the end, Tim, as well. It's always good to have some honourable mentions just to get them in. But yeah, Tim, man, it's been absolutely brilliant. It's been fantastic talking to you. Love all the stuff of the Hammers,
thank you for having me.
American Hammers Network. And thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's all relatively a little bit early over there. Yeah, still breakfast time over there. I used to do loads. I used to work loads in the East Coast, so I know that. So I know exactly the time. 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Yeah, exactly. And until next time, thank you to everyone for watching and subscribe, share. Obviously, check out the American Hammers Network as well, because all that stuff every day has got some cracking shows on. And from me and Tim, take care, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you again very, very soon. And come on, you Irons. Come on, you Irons. Yes. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers, man. Bye-bye.